Hello and welcome back to Mountain Blade Warband, and we're going to be fighting the VAEGIRS once more, because they are just unrelenting. They are just so incredibly vicious right now. They are now attempting to besiege Albert Castle, as you do. I mean, as they do, because they are generally always attempting to take something of ours. And that's the thing, I was actually going to go and try and recruit some people, but then I realized, you know what, I'm actually at war against every single faction surrounding me at the moment, which actually makes things a little bit difficult, because as you may or may not know, I cannot recruit from those places. I can't recruit from anywhere that is currently aggressive to us unless we had positive relation with them, which we do not. So that's obviously a huge problem. So what we're going to have to do instead is probably make peace with the nords. I know, not really something that I wanted to do personally. I would have preferred to have maintained our aggression towards both of them, but unfortunately it feels as though the VAEGIRS have completely come to the nords' aid. That is exactly what is happening here, which is actually kind of surprising. I would have expected them to try and eliminate the nords just that much more, but I assume they thought that they had done enough against the nords to warrant a little bit of a truce, and that seems to have now come into effect. And obviously, because that came into effect in that kind of with that kind of timing, they now think that it is a good idea to attack us. Which is obviously not very nice of them. I would very much appreciate it if they could just go away, you know, just walk in the opposite direction. That would be wonderful, but no. They're of course not going to be doing that. We are, however, we're probably going to think about taking the nearby castle. And I'm talking about, is it Yerbe Castle or something like that? I think that's what it's called. Yeah, so we're going to go and do that, hopefully, if we are lucky enough to rid ourselves of the various interloping vassals around here first. And yeah, we're going to be letting these guys go. Now here's the thing, I'm going to assume that maybe it would be a good idea for me to actually start taking some of these people prisoner and actually keeping them prisoner for extended periods of time, because if I don't do that, I am eventually going to have well, issues catching up, I guess you could kind of say. But that's the thing. As I said before, I feel like being able to consistently farm the opponent if they don't have particularly strong units. There you go. The Ismarala Castle was obviously taken because, of course, it was Mr. Yaroglek himself. Yes, Mr. Yaroglek himself was attempting to take that. Oh, and this is a siege tower. Okay, goodbye. Yeah, that's that's really not going to work. That's really not going to work for me. I mean, generally I could do it, but should I really put myself in that situation? That's the question. Should I really do that? I don't know. It would probably be a good idea for me to head back to wercheg at the very least, because what we can do is we could just buy some additional stuff. We can actually sell some things as well in the meantime. There's actually not even that much food or anything here, which is really sad. I'm not entirely sure why that is, but okay. And we're just going to sell this. There we go. Alright, that is looking nice. Okay, so someone actually mentioned something. I think you said that maybe I can find the troop trees in the camp menu. I've already taken a look at this, and you can see here there aren't any troop trees, because from what I remember, native in Warband doesn't have troop trees available in any of these menus, which is actually kind of weird. I would have felt like they probably would have done that. Maybe it is somewhere else, but I've looked through every single one of these menus very, very often back in the day as well, when I used to play this all the time, and there aren't any troop trees. So you're going to need to go to the wiki for that. Unfortunately. Anyway, let's go into the tavern real fast. Ooh, hello there. Yes. Come to me, hired blades. I appreciate that. And we also have some books here as well. This is actually really, really useful for us. So +1 to trainer, essays on logic. We got a bunch of other things here. Great book of surgery. Ooh, that could be really, really useful as well. Okay, I'm going to buy that, and we're going to get the I'm actually not entirely sure what to go for now, to be honest. I mean, generally I want to be able to read all of these, to be honest, but I'm gonna have to actually check, first of all, what these do, because I think this one gives me tactics. Doesn't this one give me tactics? I think that one gives me tactics. This one gives me leadership or engineering, which could be really useful. This one, I have no idea. And this one, essays on logic, I don't know. Maybe maybe that gives me engineering or something. I really don't know. Maybe persuasion. I couldn't tell you. Maybe I should buy this. That's the thing. I don't want to buy it because it might be a mistake. You know what I mean? It might be one of those times when I really just need to save a little bit of money. And there's definitely going to be a time later on down the road where it's going to be really, really useful for us to have those additional skill points from these books. So I'm kind of wanting to be a little bit careful about that. All right, so I'm going to try and find King Ragnar, because obviously we do need to make peace with the, in my opinion at least, we'll make peace with the Nords. I don't really, as I say, I feel like it is absolutely terrible that we are being forced into this situation. I was actually hopeful that they would come to me and say, hey, can we make peace? And all that wonderful stuff. I thought that might actually be kind of cool. But obviously they took back Tyr, and maybe that's given them enough gusto or enough, I don't know, bravery, courage, whatever you want to call it, to be able to continue their fight against us without too many issues. Because we are now at war against 3 different factions, if you can believe it. Yeah, it's a little worrying, shall we say, and that is a bit, that's a bit of an understatement, in my opinion. It's a bit of an understatement because, on the one hand, I absolutely love the fact that we have a lot of enemies to fight. We can level up our forces really, really quickly. I'm actually going to retreat from here very, very fast. I do not want to fight in this location. I'd like to, I actually wanted to fight all of those. I did actually want to fight all of them, but I don't want to fight in a battlefield that is just basically hills. Fighting in a hilltop area is just so incredibly frustrating, especially for someone that just has cavalry, which is what we do have. So that's the reason why I did that. I would have preferred to have gained a good amount of renown for my battle, but oh well, never mind. I mean, there's not much I can do about that. I'd rather just beat these guys really fast and then just move on to the next couple of vassals that we might be able to attack together. Maybe we can get them in a larger battle next time as well. That would be advantageous for us, but as I say, it's one of those things where it's just better just to make this fast rather than, you know, struggling against the hills and being so incredibly slow with our cavalry. It's very, it's just annoying, you know, it's just annoying. So generally, we're going to try and get them into a battle. Ooh, hello. Yes. Join me, Saranids. Thank you. Very nice indeed. I like that. And there we are. Okay, so... Ooh, Jeremus actually leveled up. Fantastic. Okay, let me just continue leveling these. Let's get Jeremus leveled up as well. There we go, another point in intelligence. I'm actually wondering, yeah, there we go. Now he can finally get to 6 in pathfinding, so now he's going to be, oh yeah, now he's going to be absolutely making us run around at the speed of light almost. As you can see, we have pathfinding, well, 6 plus 2, so we have 8, which is actually really, really good. That means we can catch up with people extremely fast. I'm actually thinking of taking Beluga Castle. I'm going to head over there very quickly. Actually, let me just see if I can take these guys on. I'm hopeful that they're actually going to stay in the same location. Yep, there we go. We got both of them in the attack. Please don't let this be a hill area. No, it seems like this is a little better than the previous one. Let's just say that. We really want to be in these situations where we can maximize the damage that our cavalry are going to do. We really do not want to be in those mountainous areas that are going to make things so much longer and drawn out, and it's even going to make things so bad that they might even be able to eliminate quite a few of our units, and we really do not want that. Obviously, this is pretty bad in itself, actually, for me having to deal with a lot of hills, and obviously the fact that we are now having to run up the hill with my cavalry is really, really bad. Can I maybe kill this guy? Yep, there we go. We took him out at least. And maybe we can take this one out. Nope, never mind. Yeah, see now, here's the thing. My power strike is not that good, so generally I'm not really doing that much damage. But you've also got to bear in mind that my weapon is not very good for sort of late game damage. Obviously that doesn't really matter as much when you have a massive amount of power strike, but in this case, dealing with heavily armored units, for example the enemy lords, and to a certain extent Huskarls, and well, later on I suppose when we fight the Swadians, we're going to be fighting Swadian knights, and indeed Mamluks, and all those heavily armored units. We are maybe going to benefit more from having a piercing weapon of some kind. That was actually the main reason why I was thinking about buying that Morning Star. If you remember in a previous episode, I was contemplating buying one of those. It is a two-handed / one-handed, and it does have significantly less reach than my saber. But if I actually ended up using it in specific situations, in other words, against highly armored targets, we might see better results. And maybe even in certain situations like siege defenses or siege offenses, we might be able to make good use of it. So, not sure, because you can actually crush through blocks with that thing. You can crush through their block, and that means that their shield and their parrying and all that wonderful stuff basically doesn't really work as well. So I'm actually thinking that maybe it would be a good idea for me to just go and get one of those just in case, you know, just a kind of like a sort of not a backup weapon, but just a situational weapon. Not sure just yet. But yeah, seems like we're actually doing quite nicely in regards to getting some additional units rescued here. And I'm probably going to put these in the garrison at Albert Castle. Hello there, sir. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? Can you get out of here? Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm just going to deal with these guys real fast, and then we're going to go on to Beluga Castle. I need to just make sure that these guys are not capable of ganging up on a particular garrison. So, for example, we have very, very small garrisons at the moment. And generally, as I said before, because we're at war against so many factions, I can't find any places to recruit people from. So it basically comes down to, well, how many people can I rescue? How many can I recruit from the taverns? And that's pretty much it at the moment, which is really kind of an awkward situation to be in. But, I mean, what else is there to do? I can either find King Ragnar or Prince Yarogleck, and I can speak to them and I can say, hey, would you mind not killing me right now? Let's have some peace. And that's highly unlikely. That's really, really unlikely in my opinion, because they're probably going to want to fight me as it is, because of course they are going to have, they're going to have a much larger army than I do, and that is obviously going to result in them having a greater confidence level because of their combat strength, and because they have a greater combat strength, they will just want to murder me rather than actually talking it out. And so that's going to then trap me in that situation, and then it's going to be a very uncomfortable scenario sitting in a prison somewhere, isn't it? Yeah, that's kind of what I'm anticipating to happen, but, well, whatever the case, let us now head back, because I actually rescued... Oh, there we go. Okay, that might actually be alright. I'm not a big fan of this, I gotta say. I'm really not a big fan of this at all, but to reduce the amount of enemies that we have to fight, I'm thinking we're probably gonna have to do it. And we gain right to rule from doing this as well, which is actually okay, because gaining right to rule is somewhat useful, I guess. I mean, as you can quite clearly tell from my tone, I'm not really convinced even by myself, to be honest, but it's one of those things. You just gotta do it sometimes when you get the opportunity. Is this another hired blade? Wow, there's a lot of hired blades available right here. That's pretty cool. Alright, so yeah, otherwise we're just going to put these Saranids in here, the camp defenders. Forest bandits are going to stay with me because they actually do become Swadian recruits, which is actually pretty cool. Farmers are going to stay with me as well. Saranid infantry is going to go. The camp follower is going to go as well as the peasant woman. We just want to make sure that we have as many cavalry-focused units as possible, and obviously because the forest bandit becomes a Swadian, it can eventually become a mounted unit. And I'm going to keep the mercenary swordsmen and the hired blades just purely for the fact that I have a bunch of them already. and they are actually okay for sieges and things like that. So yeah, otherwise we're just going to be slapping a whole bunch in Wercheg's garrison here, just to hopefully prevent it from being taken. 49, I mean, really. Prevent it from being taken. Yes, that's never going to happen in a million years. But Oda-san is actually available here, so we're just going to recruit from there. There's only 3 units that we can get. King Yaraglek is actually attempting to take Albert Castle, so maybe it's going to be an idea for me to head over there and see if we can make peace with him as well. I don't really want to be honest. Alright, so I'm actually in the garrison at Albert Castle here, and I actually forgot that it's not mine anymore, so I can't put the units that I just recruited from VAEGIRS into the garrison. So here's the thing, I can speak to him, and I can try to get him to make peace with us, or I can literally just go on to Beluga Castle and attempt to besiege this. Let me actually just have a quick look here. 217. They have so many VAEGIRS veterans in here. Ismarala Castle. I really wish we were still at war against the Nords. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Let's just do it. We're gonna take the plunge, as it were, and we're gonna just build this, and then we're just gonna go straight on in. I really wish they had sallied out. Please, can you sally out at some point? Yeah, these castles never sally out for some reason. I really don't know why. It's just because they think they don't outnumber us that much. I mean, obviously that's the reason, but it would be so nice if they did. It would make things a lot easier, a lot more, well, simple, I guess. A lot simpler. Okay, so yeah, now this is a big problem. I'm gonna get shot from a variety of wow, yeah, gonna get shot from a variety of angles here. Maybe I can head up the left side. Yes, I can. Thank you. Ooh, this might actually be kind of cool. I like this. Okay, I like the ladder style. This is probably my, as I said before, this is actually my favorite ladder style, I believe, because the other one, I always fall off. That one, and I don't know why. It just never. Okay. Well, yep. Never mind. I didn't say anything, alright? Didn't say anything at all. That was... Nothing happened, alright? Nothing happened. I just spawned in. Yeah, there we go. Just spawned into the battle, and I'm now looking to fight some people when I get up when I get up this ladder. And I certainly have never fallen off these ladders ever before. It's very difficult to fall off these ladders, gotta say. Really, really difficult. Not slippery at all. And yeah, let's okay, come on now. Don't fall off now. Okay, thank you. Whew, I was a bit worried there for a second. I thought to myself, are we gonna fall off again? I mean, again, not again, obviously. We didn't fall off ever. No, there were no falling off moments at all. Yes. How exasperated am I? Absolutely awful. Alright, so yeah, there we go. Now we can actually do some damage, hopefully. And try and... are these guys actually shooting me? Are these ones actually shooting me? Or is someone else actually shooting me? I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. Let's just eliminate these fellows. There we go. And now we can actually deal with these fellows too. And this is actually not even going too badly. I'm super surprised about this, to be honest. I certainly would have expected us to sustain more casualties than we actually are. Okay, here we go. Can I... Yeah, there we are. I'm just trying to make sure that I have enough space to be able to swing, because that's the thing in Warband. You actually do have a bit of an issue sometimes with the hitboxes of your own units. They can actually stand in such a place that they will block your attempts to... Oh! I got jetpacked. Did you see that? I got jetpacked. That is a term that I use to describe a certain situation where either an allied unit or an enemy unit gets propelled in some way or another due to the physics of the game engine, which I thought was really, really amusing, and generally is quite amusing whenever it happens. And that is exactly what happened to me just there. I am taking an extremely big risk as well, by the way, for me to come down here in the first place, because I can now die very quickly indeed. And I'm actually hoping that I don't... Okay, I'm going to just hide under here, because I think this is actually kind of safe. Yeah, I think this is actually kind of safe. Where are my forces? They're still on... See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. They are still on the stairs over there. I'm not entirely sure why that is. It just boggles the mind. Absolutely boggles the mind. And now I'm getting absolutely murdered. So I'm going to go over here again. Oh, I'm going to get shot by this guy. Yep, there we go. I'm dead. And this is my point. You see the... Oh, you see my own units? You see what they're doing? They are being so completely passive. It's really, really strange. I don't know why they do that. I really do not. It is extremely frustrating to see those kinds of things happen. Oh well, never mind. It's not that big a deal because we are going to be able to take this without too many issues. But it is extremely frustrating when that happens because we were going to win that really, really handily. But my forces just have a slight delay. I think I've noticed that now because obviously I've been playing Bannerlord a huge amount. And in comparison to the AI in that game, that's the thing. It's so funny. There are strengths and weaknesses to both games. And for me personally, what I've noticed the most prominent thing about Warband's AI is that when they're actually attempting to attack something, when they're attempting to move forward in a particular siege, they seem to be very hesitant. They seem to be hesitant in a somewhat self-damaging way, which is really weird. You would think that they would try to, you know, capture and move forward really, really quickly, but in actual fact, they are very slow in their actions, and they decide to move at a snail's pace almost. And it kind of boggles the mind. It really does. I really have no idea. I'm just very confused about the whole thing, to be honest, because I was down there fighting, distracting the archers as much as I possibly could, and they were fighting, I don't even know, a handful, maybe 4, 5, maybe even 6 infantry. And bear in mind, I've got VAEGIRS knights here. I've got VAEGIRS knights. I've got, what the? Where am I? Where am I right now? This is kind of weird. Okay, well, whatever the case, yeah, I have VAEGIRS knights, I have Swadian knights, I've got some extremely high tier units, and then all of a sudden, they're not able to move forward. It's really strange. I don't know. I'm not sure whether you noticed that when I was actually fighting the archers, because I was looking over there and I was thinking, okay, they must be down the stairs by now, surely, because I'm doing some distraction, you know, distraction stuff. I'm trying to eliminate the archers as much as we possibly can, trying to make it so that the allied forces actually feel as though they are somewhat secure in the knowledge that they're not going to get eliminated by archers immediately upon getting down into the courtyard, you know, that kind of thing. But no, they were still halfway down the stairs, and I was just thinking, what? They're still halfway down? I mean, literally, I left them at that point. They were basically halfway down when I got jetpacked over the others, and there was only, what, 3 in front of them at that point? It's very strange. I don't know. Anyway, that is going to be a victory for us, which is very nice indeed to see. Very, very happy about that. And now it remains to be seen whether Prince Yaroglek will actually continue his attack, or whether he will decide to maybe come and try and take this back? It depends. Alright, so Mr. Krahask doesn't actually have a fief, so I'm actually going to give him this, which is possibly a bad idea, but I'm going to just do it nevertheless, just so, you know, there we go. Okay, so Albert Castle has actually been taken, which is to be expected. I mean, I wasn't expecting anything less, to be honest, but yeah. Anyway, let's just level these guys, level them up, and I've actually leveled up. Okay, fantastic. Let's go for another point in strength, another point in power strike. There we go. And let's go back to Albert Castle. And now what we're going to do is we're hopefully... Oh, this is so funny. Okay, we're just gonna tell them to surrender. Boom, there you go. Done. Taken them. Gonna give it to this guy to artificially increase the amount of relation I give with him. I mean, it's really, really funny that they are just allowing us to do this infinitely, basically. Ismarala Castle is also up for grabs. Wercheg has been besieged. Okay, I guess I'm going to go over there first then and see what's going on there. Prince Yaraglek is definitely here. Yes, indeed. Oh, hello. Oh, you actually want to fight me this time, sir. All right, look at this, okay? Let me see if I can actually do this appropriately. This is a strategy that I've used many times in the past, just so that I can... Wait a minute. Let's get him. Okay, let me just... Can you just follow me a little bit more, sir? Just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. He's obviously just being very, very cautious about how much he follows me. But now look at this. Let me see if I can actually pull this off appropriately. Boom. Yes, exactly. So you saw exactly what happened? Yeah, you saw what happened? Yep, indeed. I pulled Prince Yaraglek away. Obviously, he has to react to my presence to actually make this work. If he doesn't, then that's impossible, and I'm going to have to deal with him in the siege defense itself. So it's very much reliant on what the AI decides to do, because sometimes they completely ignore you, other times they're highly aggressive, and so on. But this time around, we were able to get him and manipulate his movements exactly the way that we wanted to, which is really great. It's super nice to see that, for once. You know, we can actually use our strategy instead of our brute force, I guess, a little bit this time around. Because usually we're just going to be like, oh yes, let me just go into a siege defense and actually defend us against, you know, 300, 400 units. Yeah, that kind of thing is always very, very intense, and you've got to be super, super careful about not dying yourself, obviously. That's a pretty big deal. But yeah, thankfully we were able to do that in previous episodes. But now we're okay, because Prince Yaraglek, he's kind of just screwed up the entire plan that his vassals had, because I believe it was Boyar Vlan that started the siege here, and Prince Yaraglek was obviously accompanying them, and then he basically thought, I'm gonna chase this guy off, but he did this in such a weird manner because he has such a large army. It's just too slow. He's just too slow, doesn't have enough mobility, and as a result we were able to quite literally run rings around him, and as a result get back to his allies and take them down, which is what we've done. So there you go. Anyway, 3 renown for us right there. We're going to be I should have taken that guy prisoner, actually, because he was really annoyed at me for actually letting him go last time. Because some of these guys have such a bad personality that they are even annoyed at you when you do something nice for them by letting them go, because they think it's an insult. You know, they think it's highly insulting for you to let them go in those situations. So yeah, anyway, we'll just take a couple of pieces of loot, and now let's see where Prince Yaraglek actually is. There he is. Okay, so I'm obviously not going to want to speak to him right away. That's the slight bit of an issue that we're going to be somewhat dealing with. I don't really want to speak to him while he's attempting to murder me. I know, may seem weird, right? Not to speak to the guy that wants to murder you, but yeah, generally I would like to prevent speaking to him at the moment. I would like to speak to him soon, but only when he stops trying to murder me, I guess. Let's see what happens. Okay, so he's going to leave. Actually, is he? No, he just wanted to kill some villagers. Are you serious? Come on. Sir, what are you doing there? Alright, so here's the thing. I think we can probably do some damage against him, but I gotta be a little bit careful about this. Not sure. I mean, we've taken Beluga. We could actually go and take Ismarala Castle. I mean, if he goes back to wercheg, that's obviously going to be a problem. He's actually traveling to Raverdin right now. That's a bit weird. Is it under siege? No, it is not under siege. Okay, that's a little bit strange. I'm not entirely sure why he would do that. There are only 30 units here, but the vassal. The vassal. If only the vassal wasn't here, I'd be able to take this extremely easily. Okay, well, it's only 4 hours. This is exactly the reason why siege ladders are superior in every single way. But unfortunately, you cannot choose which siege equipment you get. So that's the reason why whenever I see a siege tower, I just go, yeah, you know what? I'll do that next millennium instead of this one. And this is obviously really, really simple. This vassal only has recruits, basically. The majority of his army is going to be recruits. And, well, as we know, that's not really going to provide that much of a difficulty for our forces. But this is exactly the reason why we have to be very careful of I was going to call him Prince Yarogleck, but I mean King Yarogleck, but he's actually Prince Yarogleck. Whatever the case, that fellow is running around with a massive amount of veterans, and that's the reason why we have to be very careful, because I don't know whether you noticed, but the only unit to actually get some kills on the enemy side was indeed a veteran. So those guys really know what to do. They have some good staying power. They're not exactly the most amazing unit ever, but they are definitely a lot better than a recruit, that's for sure. Anyway, my forces are no doubt going to eliminate that last opponent, or at least I can only hope they will. They seem to be getting blocked all over the place for some reason by a VAEGIRS skirmisher, but okay. I know that I would as well, so they're just taking after me a little bit, I guess. Anyway, there we are. We have now taken the castle, which is great. And now I can basically give this to whoever I want. I think I will probably just defer appointment of a lord, I guess. There's no real need for me to give it to anyone in particular. And I could potentially just give some additional farmers, I guess, here. I could actually take some veterans myself. Yeah, I'm going to take the veterans myself because they can actually become a VAEGIR horseman, which could be kind of useful if they level up. So there we go. All right, so we took that. And now, technically, I could go on and I could take Kelradan and Nadar Castle. I'm actually thinking whether we should do that. That might even be a good plan, to be honest, because Prince Yarogleck, I'm going to assume... What? Are you... Did he run away? Did this guy run away from the siege before we eliminated it? It must have been the case, because he's now got 95, so he must have been in a situation where he was just literally right out of there instantly. That's kind of hilarious, isn't it? Alright, well, whatever the case, let's just get our classic line formation up and running with our cavalry, and then we can deal with the enemy without too many issues. But yeah, we're gonna go on to Nadar Castle. We'll see what's going on there, because I believe the VAEGIRS actually took that before the peace agreement with the Nords went through. And that means that they might have an extremely, well, undefended garrison, or very low amounts of units in there, which would be fantastic. That would be so incredibly good, because then we could just increase our overall territory by a significant margin that fast. And then, here's the thing, if we can force a peace agreement with the VAEGIRS, which I'm obviously looking forward to at this point, then maybe, just maybe, we will be able to start our war with the Nords again. And that's the thing, I'm not going to be, I think I can start wars anytime, because I know that in Bannerlord that's actually not the case. If you have a truce or a, you know, peace agreement of some kind, non-aggression pact, something like that, you cannot break that for any reason by attacking vassals. I'm not entirely sure if you can attack villagers, on the other hand, which might very well be what you need to do. I think I've tried that once before and it didn't seem to work, but I don't know. I'm going to have to confirm that, obviously, but I don't think that works anymore. But in Warband, you can actually do that. You can just basically be as dishonorable as you like, which is actually obviously part of the reason why this game is known as being very choice-based. The player can do whatever they want to do, and it's very realistic in that fashion, because obviously people could do whatever they want to do in these sorts of situations as well. Anyway, I'm not going to be capturing any prisoners. I will just take a couple of pieces of loot, of course. And now we're going to be making our way over to Nadar Castle, which is just over there. Let's just see if I can level up some forces. There we go. We're actually slowly building our Swadian Knight population back up to scratch as well, which is actually super nice. I'm actually wondering when Borcher is going to return. Is Prince Yarogleck going to try and take this back? I'm not entirely sure. I think he actually is... Wait a minute. Is he running out of food? Where is he? It's no longer under siege. Okay. Okay, I was actually hoping maybe if he's running out of food, we might be able to We might be able to do something with him. I don't know, but we can easily take Nadar Castle. There's only 60 units here. This is exactly the reason why I wanted to come here. Because, really... Oh! This ladder. Yeah, okay. I might as well sign my death warrant now. What do you bet this is going to take me 2 tries to take? Even though this is literally 60 units. Just 60 units in here. It shouldn't take me 2 tries, but because it's me and because it's this kind of ladder, I'm really, really awful at this. Okay, wait a minute. Are you serious right now? You're just letting me go by? Okay, yeah, they're not actually letting me go by, as you can see. They are actually attempting to murder me. But not very effectively. Okay, I'm very, very pleased that I was able to get in here. Because I was actually thinking, can I do the same thing as I do in Bannerlord? And yeah, it seems like I can. It is going to injure me a little bit more than I anticipated, but that's pretty nice. I like it. Alright, so wait a minute. I want to actually just try something out here real fast as well, because as far as I'm aware, you can't do that in this game. Oh, that's actually sad. Okay. I was actually hoping that I'd be able to interact with the gate and actually open up the gate, but apparently that doesn't work. Not entirely sure why that is. Feel like I should be able to, but apparently I can't. So anyway, let's just go over here instead and take out this archer so my forces don't actually have to do that. And we should probably eliminate these others as well. It's actually really weird how they place their archers so far away from each other, and I mean, I guess it's okay because it does make it a lot harder for the opposing force, whoever is attempting to take the castle, to actually eliminate them, but still. Am I going to get killed by this guy? Almost. Almost. He was actually a little bit difficult, you know? Actually a little bit difficult, surprisingly enough. Oh well, there you go. We were able to take it nicely enough, and I don't have any space anymore, so that's actually kind of annoying. Gonna defer appointment of a lord once again. And we'll manage the garrison a little... Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to manage the garrison. There doesn't seem to be that much of a point in it. And I'm going to go straight on over to... Oh, actually, Kelradan Castle is a siege tower. Yeah, Kelradan Castle is a siege tower. So I'm not really looking forward to doing that. But let's just take a look-see at it after this. Maybe it's got a decent enough... well, should we say a low enough garrison for me to try and take it. Do I need to buy any food? There's a lot of grain here. Let's try and take some of this, the cheese and the meat and all that stuff, and then we'll go into the tavern, see if there's anything here. Ymira's here again. Don't really need her, though. We'll recruit the mercenary horseman, and then we'll just go on over here. Was it mercenary horseman that I got just now, or is it swordsman? I think it was horseman. Yeah, I think so. All right, so that's pretty good. All right, yeah. Okay, so yeah, we'll go over to Kelradan and we'll see what's actually going on there. Borcha has returned. That's actually really nice too, because we really do need him to level up something fierce right now, because otherwise he's not going to be able to use that wonderful helm that we purchased him earlier on. Ismarala has come under siege once again, but that is really not that big a deal. And there are... Wow, that's actually a lot of units. Can this guy actually come out here and try to attack me? 48 hours. Okay. Let's see what happens. It's only 2 days. So I'm going to try and take it. But I am not pleased. Let's just say that. Wait a minute. Who's that? Okay, that's no one that can really do anything to us at the moment. We've just got to be careful if Mr. Yaraglek comes along, because he's definitely going to... Well... He's going to be very, very dangerous for us. Oh, now they're offering me a peace agreement. Oh, now? Okay, yeah, sure. I'll say yeah. The main reason why I'm doing this is because I don't want them to take Ismarala, and I don't really care that much about Kelradan, because Kelradan is literally... It's all the way out here, basically. The only reason why I was taking Nadar Castle is because it was an easy thing to take. And yeah, now we're actually looking pretty nice, to be honest. I think most of this place is looking pretty good, but we just need to wage war against the nords again. So the best thing that I can do now is actually go back to wercheg. And I don't need to worry about anyone around here any further. The only thing I need to worry about is, yes, indeed, the Rodox. I was actually hoping that they would leave me alone for the moment, but they apparently want to pick a fight with us. Hello. Ooh, okay. This is going to be interesting. Huh. Can I bait one of these guys away from here? Highly unlikely, right? Yeah, highly unlikely. How many do they have? Let's see. 160, 220, and then they have, okay, 430 or so. That's what they have right there. Okay. We might be able to defend against them. Or, on the other hand, I could just leave Nadar Castle and go over to Ismarala, because this is currently under siege by this guy. And personally, for me, as I've said before, I really don't care that much about the castles over towards Swadian territory, because the more that we go close to the Swadians, or in fact anyone else, so we go close to the Kyrgyz, or, you know, even the Saranids at some point, they're going to feel threatened. They're going to feel threatened, and they're going to think to themselves, wait a minute, that fief over there, that looks really, really weak. Let's declare war and take that. That is exactly the kind of thing I don't want to have happen. So generally, even if the Roroks do take Nadar Castle, I don't really care about that. I do care about them taking Ismarala, on the other hand, because that is indeed only bordering the VAEGIRS and the nords. And obviously, I don't really mind fighting those two factions. I think I'm okay fighting those two factions at the moment. But fighting someone fresh, quote-unquote, like the Kyrgyz might be, I don't even know who the Kyrgyz have actually been fighting at this point, because I've not actually fought them myself yet. But, yeah, fighting those guys, that's going to be maybe a little bit problematic, you know what I mean? So that's the kind of thing that I'm trying to avoid at the moment. So we'll see how that goes. And I would like to try and recruit some more units. Ismarala is looking really, really bad, actually, at the moment. Maybe we should just let it get taken and then take it back instantly. You know, one of those strategies that we could potentially do. I'm just going to recruit some people here just very quickly so that I can place them in the garrison at wercheg. Basically, I just want to slap as many units in wercheg as possible, just getting really, really low tier units and just putting them all in there. That's pretty much the best way of doing it. Of course, it would help if my my villages weren't actually all looted. That would definitely help us. But yeah, can't do much about that. Okay, let's just do this. There we are. And we'll go over to Udiniad as well. Yeah, we might as well just go over to all of these places while we can. And we'll put them into wercheg. Obviously, we do have vassals now as well, and each of the vassals has one castle, which is actually really nice. And the Roroks are offering me a peace agreement. Okay, I'll accept that, because that will give me some additional right to rule too. And I'm actually really pleased about that, because it's going to make everything so much simpler for us. We are basically now in a situation where I don't need to rush around. I don't need to defend. And I can basically just take my time doing whatever it is I want to do, which is actually fantastic. I'm very much enjoying that. So that means we have these things. They didn't take Ismarala, which is very nice, in my opinion. And I'm also going to be doing a little bit of something here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go into the castle real fast. And we're going to give myself... should I make myself Lord of Ismarala Castle? I'm kind of wondering whether I should or not, or whether I should give it to someone else. Maybe I should give it to the Saranid fellow. Yeah, I'm going to give Ismarala Castle to... Should I give it to the Saranid? I don't have a castle. Or do I? No, I don't think I have a castle. Okay, I'm going to take the castle for myself. And we'll just hope that that actually makes a difference. Maybe it will. I don't know. Maybe it's not even necessary, you know? Maybe it's one of those things that we don't really care about or don't really need or whatever. Oh well, whatever the case. Let's just go over to the various villages now, because what I'd like to do is manage the village. Let's see what we can get here. What is this? Lets you rest and pay your troops half wages, increases village prosperity, increases the loyalty of the villagers to you by +1 every month. Every month? That seems extremely not worth it. I'm gonna do the prosperity thing, I guess. Yeah, not a terribly big fan of that either way, but yes. I guess it's alright, you know, it's fine. Let's go down to Ismarala as well and do a little bit of upgrading there too. And let's manage this. We'll do the mill as well. It's going to take another 42 days. 42 days is not that big a deal in the grand scheme of, well, Warband. Because, you know, generally a lot of things take a lot of time to complete and do and, you know, all that wonderful stuff. So, generally, 42 days is probably going to go by in a flash. And otherwise, I'm just very much looking forward to what happens next, because I'm going to assume that the Nords will probably declare war against us first. I'm pretty sure that's... I think that's probably what's going to happen next, so I'm basically just trying to recruit as many units as I can get my hands on, and then basically just having... I'm going to try to get around 200 units in wercheg. I'm obviously going to be doing this off screen, so you don't have to watch all of that, you know, mindless grinding, recruiting sort of thing going on. And I'm also going to scout out a couple of areas that I'd like to take. So, for example, I'd like to go and see about Chalbeck Castle all the way over here, just because it might be a nice thing for us to take so that we can lure Nord vassals over there. So if they want to go and take that back, they're going to have to go all the way over there, and then we run around all the way to Sargoth and take that instead. Something along those lines. That might actually be kind of useful. But otherwise, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.